Welcome to the Financial Coaching Training Program. This is part of a series of webinars that we have created at Women's Way to help you continue to develop your skills as a financial coach. So today we're going to talk about financial coaching and behavior change and what is the best process that we can use that's simple and easy and doesn't take a lot of time for you to share with your clients, but that you can use to follow when you're trying to help someone understand how to make the changes that they need to make in order to achieve financial success and success in general. So our goals for this webinar are to help you as coaches to understand how our behavior is impacted by our beliefs and how they affect our finances. We want to help you to help someone with the self-discovery process, which is needed to make better financial decisions and other decisions in general. And then why accountability is important to ourselves and how it's part of what can really help us become successful and make those changes that are necessary. So the process we use is this one, and we use it because it's simple, it's easier to follow, and we know that it works with our clients. We discussed a lot about behavior change in the training program, so there's depth there, and you have the slides, but we also simplify it in this manner because it's practical. So we're going to talk about success and how it starts within, because success is something that's reflected in our external world. It's not something, we don't find success outside of ourselves. We must first become successful within ourselves. We must believe that we can achieve the things that we desire, that we can be successful, and that takes a lot of self-reflection. And from there, then we move into understanding from that reflection what it is that has to change. We must find ways to get to that point where we have strong beliefs around our abilities. So we have to believe in ourselves and our abilities. We have to have powerful reasons for wanting to change our behavior. And then we have to act. These other steps accomplish nothing if we don't act. And one of the things we know is that in order to help us change behavior, the best thing we can do is start small. So when we talk about success starting within and we talk about reflection, this is that process that has to happen. And I have a series of questions here because it helps you to understand that based on questions, powerful questions, you can start to help someone to get to the point where they're reflecting on their beliefs. So the first thing we have to do is take inventory of our beliefs. And in taking inventory of our beliefs, we have to move to understanding where they come from. We have beliefs come to us from the moment we enter the planet. We have the influence of the people that raise us, our education system, our circle of friends, the media, in today's world, social media, etc. So we get beliefs all through our lives, and they're changing. Many times they're changing based on the influences. But when was the last time that you spent self-reflecting? Really sitting back and saying, you know, there are things I would love to change. Why can't I change my behavior? Why is it so difficult? Well, first of all, you have to stop and reflect on your beliefs, because your beliefs impact your behavior. Our beliefs around money impact our behavior and how we manage our money. If we believe that money is hard to get, that it's, it never, I can never hang on to money. Every time I make money, it ends up that I end up having to spend it on something unexpected. And so I can't seem to build a savings fund. Those beliefs are negative beliefs, and they are beliefs that keep us in a cycle because until we understand that that belief isn't serving us, we can't possibly change our behavior. And then you want to know, in that reflection, you've got to know where your beliefs come from. Who are the people that have influenced your beliefs, and what experiences? Because our experiences also create the beliefs, and all these things impact our ability or inability to change. Because if we don't think anything's wrong, if we don't have a problem with our beliefs, if we don't evaluate and reflect, then we don't think there's anything wrong. We don't think we have to change. So we have to talk about those experiences and those things that also have led to our beliefs. Imagine if you have been victimized by someone. Might you start feeling afraid or having a negative response to other people that look like that person? Young, old, of a certain culture, of a certain leadership position. There's so many things, and all these things in our society, the limiting beliefs that we have been taught, all the things that come from society that do not serve us, and yet we have embraced many of those beliefs as our own, only to find out later in life that they have been there to create those beliefs so that we will act and behave in a certain manner. And as you know from the training program, we've got some great things about the things that happen in society that lead to us having certain beliefs, and beliefs that are not serving us well at all. And yet, because we've never reflected on them, we've continued to embrace them. Then we want you to reflect on the abilities and the skills that you have that have helped you achieve things in life. And we'll talk more about that. And then the beliefs that have impacted your behavior. How have those beliefs impacted your behavior, financially or otherwise? And then we circle back, right? We circle back to continuing to take inventory of our beliefs and our abilities. So the next step in this process is to identify what must change. Again, if I haven't done any self-reflection, if I haven't stopped to ask myself, why am I the way I am? Why do I believe the things I believe? What makes me who I am? If I don't do any of that, then it doesn't lead me to reflecting on my beliefs, because the beliefs are the things that make me who I am. I believe strongly in personal development. I've always pursued learning. I've always pursued the desire to improve myself and my life. I've never questioned the possibility that I can have a certain income level in my life. Have I made all the right decisions? No, but I've never questioned my ability to achieve the financial position that I desire. The problem is that the behaviors that I have exhibited in the past around what I started to believe because of the things that were said to me, taught to me, or the things that I saw around me may not have helped me to get to the place where I could have achieved my financial goals much earlier in life. So we have to really reflect on all of that and question, what beliefs and strengths do I have that can help me change my behaviors and make sure that they align with what I want for my life? So it's always one of the greatest things to do when we start to when we have that desire to make a change, is to reflect on our strengths. It's always wonderful. It's always necessary to start from a position of strength. When we work with our clients, we want to help them to understand that they do have skills and they have abilities and they can accomplish things. So the process for changing is to reflect and then to identify what beliefs and strengths we do have that can help us, right? So that we can change our behaviors and make sure that those behaviors are now in alignment with what we want for our lives. We want behaviors that serve us well. If I believe that money is bad, that wanting money and accumulating wealth is a bad thing, my behavior is going to align with that. I'm going to not pursue building wealth because I think that it makes people greedy. It changes people's personalities, whatever our beliefs are that are impacting that behavior. And then what are the financial behaviors that I have to change? If I say I want to have a savings account, I want to have an emergency fund, I want to build assets so that those assets can be turned into cash quickly so that I can live the life I desire, maybe in retirement, whatever it may be, whatever your goals are. I have to say to myself, okay, it's great that I say I want those things, but then every time I'm out and about, I'm shopping and I'm not stopping to think about the impact of that money. And why? Because we don't connect our behavior with our everyday living, with all the things that go on in life. So I don't see perhaps that spending money on little things constantly is keeping me from having the money that I need to invest and to buy a home or buy properties or invest in things where my money will grow without me having to earn it physically. And then how that's going to lead to a better life for me. So all those little decisions, all that spending that we do, we have to question our financial behaviors and what has to change. And then which of those behaviors are keeping me from my goals? What is it that is making it too difficult? We have to find ways then to change. But before we can change, we have to believe that once we have identified the problems, once we've identified the issues and the beliefs that don't serve us, we have to create a process to begin to change. And change doesn't happen overnight. Behavior change is a process, and that's what we're working on right now. You first have to reflect. We have to identify what isn't serving us, what has to change. And then we have to do some things to begin to develop and strengthen our beliefs in ourselves and our ability to change. So these are some ideas of some things that we have to do. It helps to create a list of all the reasons why a change is possible. What skills do you have that would help you make a change? We all have skills. And oftentimes our clients don't recognize something as a skill. That's why we have a skills checklist. It's a handout that we share with you as coaches because it's a wonderful tool to give someone so that they can circle all these different things and sit there and look at it and realize that they have a lot of skills. What skills can you learn? So what skills do I not have? Maybe I don't understand investing. Maybe I know nothing about the importance of creating a financial plan, the importance of having a will or a testament. So I have to develop skills, additional skills that I don't have, but I have to know that it's a skill I want to identify. I have to understand that I need that skill in order to do better in life. So becoming more financially capable requires some skills and education. You as case managers, for example, and financial coaches are coaching someone to develop that financial capability, but you're helping them understand through your case management that finding a job, learning, spending your time in lifelong learning. In other words, even if you didn't go to get a formal education, you can get educated. You can achieve levels of learning that are unlimited. Only you set those limits. And so you can continue to learn and achieve new skills that are going to help you to make the changes you need so that you can achieve the goals that you want. I want you to think of a time when you reached a financial goal. What did you do that helped you? Because that is going to help you to help your clients. As we go through this presentation, as you go through this presentation, I want you to pause and reflect on each of these sections, each of these steps that we're talking about in this presentation. Go to the Slack group and share what you got out of it. And I want you to share in first person. In other words, when you share in the Slack group, especially on things around beliefs and when you're discovering and you're going through this process, I want you to comment, but I want you to talk in first person. I want you to say what I got when I look at the process that has to happen for behavior change. I realize that for me, the challenge is X. I have felt that I wasn't capable of reaching a certain goal in my life. I want you to speak in first person because it really makes a difference. Instead of speaking, well, people often feel this way, that removes that self-reflection from you and puts it kind of out there outside yourself. So I want you to use first person in order for you to really sit back and reflect, and then by writing and sharing and commenting, and we do this as a community in a safe and non-judgment environment, you begin to see who you really are, and that self-reflection is really going to help. And then I want you to keep thinking of all the positive reasons why change is possible, what you can do, all the different things that can happen that are going to help you to make changes. You've accomplished the things in your life, and so have your clients. So the same process that you're going through, you take your clients through, and help them understand that they have skills, that they have abilities, that they can continue to learn, that change is possible. But we know it's not easy, but if you follow this process, it begins to make the process easier. Now, in order for all of this to come together, we have to have powerful reasons for wanting to change. Think about a time in your life when you accomplished something that you just never thought you could accomplish. I mentioned to some friends recently that I have climbed and jumped out of helicopters, or climbed and rappelled out of very, very tall buildings. And I did that with the military. And they said they never knew that. And I said, no, I don't always run around sharing that. But what I shared with them was that when I look back, I think to myself, how did I accomplish that when now I'm afraid to get on a ladder to climb up on a roof? And then when I have to get off the roof, I'm terrified to just turn around and put my foot on the top of the ladder. Imagine. And yet I was able to do those other things. Why? Because at the time I had the motivation, I had the belief that I could, I was inspired by other people around me, I believed in myself and the ability, so it made it easy. So for behavior to change, we have to have very powerful reasons. If I want to buy a house, saying, "What? I want to buy a house because I've never owned a home." That's not really a reason that's going to help you go out and buy a house. But if you, as a coach, ask more questions, if I were to say to you, well, I want to buy a house because I've never owned a home, and you say to me, you've never owned a home. Can you share with me what happened that you've never owned a home? And then I go into that story and you keep asking me questions. What are you doing? You're helping me to build a more powerful reason. What would owning a home do for you? Why do you feel that at this point in your life it's important to own a home? And I keep giving you reasons. And what you're doing is you're helping me with this process that is on this PowerPoint. You're helping me to define and find powerful reasons. For some reason, asking ourselves 5 times why we want something to change or something to happen, or we want a goal, it helps us with behavior change because it solidifies it. So you as a coach can be asking 5 times, making sure that this person answers for themselves at least 5 times why they really want to make a change, why changing the behavior is going to help them with what they want to accomplish. What is it about this particular goal that's so important that they're going to commit? Because behavior change needs all of these things to strengthen it. How will it make a positive impact in your life owning a home? What will it do for your family and your children? Where do you see yourself owning a home? It's continuing to ask the kinds of questions that are helping me to build that powerful why, that powerful reason. And how will it help you make better decisions? It's going to help you make better decisions because you have a more powerful why. And the more I ask, well, tell me what else? What else can you do so that you can own this home? If you work on the changes, if you have powerful reasons, they will help you make better financial decisions or otherwise, because here's what happens. Let's say I want to buy this house, and I've recognized also in my self-reflection that I have some bad spending habits. But because I have such a strong reason now, because you as a coach have helped me arrive at those reasons, and I'm conscious and aware of them. Next time I'm somewhere and I start to make a financial decision, a bad financial decision, there's a much greater probability that I'm going to stop myself and say, wait a minute, this is exactly what I was talking about with my coach. This is exactly what I am not going to do today, because this is not going to help me reach my goal of buying my home by such and such time. So we have to have very, very strong reasons. And we know that in order to make changes, it's important that we start small. The problem with our goals and our behavior change is that we try to set this really big goal. I want to buy a house in a year. I want to buy a house in 2 years. And that's the goal. It's too big. This goal has so many steps. There's so many things that have to happen to own a home that leaving that goal at that level is not going to help. It's if I want to establish a savings account and I say to myself that I'm going to save $1,000 in 30 days, and I have never saved $30 in 30 days. I've never even saved $100 in 30 days. There's little probability that I'm going to commit to this goal because I've never seen that kind of success. So if I want to change behavior, it's about the little habits that keep adding up until my behavior changes and helps me to embrace and meet my goals. And it helps me. And some of these small changes have to do with changing the behavior around our money. I have to believe that I can save. But if I try to set a goal of saving $1,000, I'm already questioning how on earth I'm going to do that, especially if I've never done it. Or maybe I'm in a really tight financial position. Why would I say that I'm going to save $1,000? But if I say, you know what, I'm just going to set a goal of $10 in 2 weeks, I'm going to save $10. And I reach that goal, I'm now much more motivated because I've reached a goal. I have saved money. And what we're going for is to change a habit, to build a new and better habit, to change our behaviors, to build a new and better habit. Now, if we want to make a change, it helps quite a bit to focus on that small change, but then to connect it to an existing or established habit. I talked about that in the training, but the idea is if you have a goal of buying a new car and you know that you have to start small with small steps, and you want to connect buying this new car with an existing habit, which the goal is really to save a certain amount of money. Or maybe you want to buy a car, but you haven't even decided what that car looks like. So the goal is really first to decide, right? The small step, what car it is that you're going to buy. But you haven't done any research. You keep forgetting to do the research. So you connect the goal of doing the research for this new car to something that you already do. So let's say that you know that every single day at a certain time of the day, you find yourself on your phone, looking online, poking around to see what's going on. So maybe what you do is you say to yourself, and you put in your calendar, that the next time that you sit down with your phone, which happens every day, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, whatever it is, you say to yourself, I am going to research this goal, this car that I want. I'm going to research everything about this car, and I'm going to start small. I don't have a lot of time to do research, so I'm just going to spend 10 minutes every time I pick up my phone. Maybe that's the habit. Every time I pick up my phone, I'm going to do a quick search, take note of that information, and keep it moving. And within 1 week, I'm going to know exactly if that's the car I really want to buy, what it's going to cost, what the maintenance is going to be to once I have it, and everything else I need to know about that car. So connecting things to an established habit is important, allowing time for the new habit before adding next steps. Whatever goal you have, and you have that small step that you're trying to accomplish, once that's accomplished, go for the next goal and keep adding. But make sure that you have completed the goal. If it's that you want to eat better, you want to feel healthy, then just start by eliminating 1 soda a week, maybe 2, maybe 3. And you find yourself that you stop drinking soda. And once you stop drinking soda, then you add another step. And maybe that next step is you want to drink more water. So now you're drinking more water. You cut out the soda and you're drinking more water. And once you made that into a habit and you find yourself for, 1, 2, 3 months that you're amazed at how much water you drink, how much you like it, that you're not even tempted by drinking sodas anymore, then you go to the next goal. What else? Maybe I want to add some exercise. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to cut out my sodas, drink more water, and exercise every day, not likely you're going to create new habits, change your behavior, and be successful, because it's too much all at once. And then hold yourself accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to find ways to hold ourselves accountable. So in order to succeed with accountability, we want to hold ourselves accountable, but we also need someone else that we can trust, that won't judge us, to hold us accountable. And how we do that is by identifying, it can be a family member, it can be a friend, it can be a mentor, your case managers. You as a case manager may be the accountability person. You have clients that have goals that they have to meet, and it's based on your requirement as an organization. So you're already holding them accountable. But now that you've helped them with this process so they can begin to make changes, you're really holding them accountable. But you're allowing them to decide if you're the right person. So when they talk to you about goals, you want to say, well, if this is a goal, how will you hold yourself accountable? And who else can you ask to hold you accountable so that you can make sure that you reach your goals, that you change your behaviors, that it aligns with what it is that you desire? This is the process. This is the process that will take you and your clients from where you are to where you want to be. And this is an important process when it comes to finances, because finances are a struggle for so many. We have so many beliefs that we don't even know aren't serving us. And so if you follow this process and you learn this process, which is really not complicated. So again, go to the Slack group and add your comments as you reflect on this process, this entire process. Go to the Slack group and comment and share your reflections, again, in first person. Let's talk about these things in the group so that we can help each other achieve our goals, and more importantly, help our clients to meet their goals. That's what we love doing. You don't do what you do because you don't care. You obviously care. And so let's help more of our clients achieve their goals, but this also helps us reach our own goals. It reminds us of what it is that we've been wanting to do that we haven't done. Thank you again for taking the time to go through this webinar, and I hope that it really helps you and your clients to achieve your goals.